Most people, pre-holiday, like to pop into the Wetherspoons at the airport for a gentle loosener before the flight. Or buy a book from the shop to sit on the lounger with. You know, most people's pre-holiday enjoyment probably doesn't involve being grilled by Nick Ferrari live on the radio, but then most people aren't the Prime Minister. Maybe he'll tuck into an alcohol-free Guinness later before he pootles off to California. Leaving behind in the vapour trail of his plane is a country whose economy is stuttering badly and upon which, probably, his electoral fate could be sealed. Another rate rise is likely to come from the Bank of England tomorrow, which in turn looks likely to mean mortgage costs will increase, and you know the pain that entails. The Prime Minister forced to confront that pain earlier on LBC and gave an answer that many seem to think was cold-shouldered, uncaring, lacking in empathy or any practical help. And I guess that might be true, but I'd like to know what you think Sunak should have said to this caller, who is in his mid-30s, he is mortgaged up to the back teeth, he's stretched his finances to put a roof over his family's head and is now, not unreasonably, bricking it as that mortgage comes up for renewal. His call is for help, more help than is currently on offer. And the response from Sunak is basically, talk to your bank. They should be able to help you, talk to them. And Rishi Sunak's been getting it in the neck a bit for that response. I think, we'll play you the clip, but I think Sunak actually wants to give a different answer but can't. I think I know the answer that he wants to give. I think I know what he really wants to say, but what he wants to say will sound brutal. I think it's the truth, but it is brutal. So have a listen to this exchange. Tell me what you think Rishi Sunak should have said, how what he said comes across to you, particularly if you find yourself in the position of staying awake at night, unable to sleep because you know your mortgage deal is up in the not too distant future and you know that you are going to massively struggle to afford the repayments. So tell me what you make of what he said and what you think the truth is that is lurking under the surface of his answer.
In the short term, for you or anyone else who's worried about this, you should talk to your bank. And what we've agreed is a mortgage charter with the lending industry. So you can talk to your bank and you can do a couple of things with them. You could extend the term of your mortgage by, say, 5 or 10 years, or you could switch to an interest-only mortgage. Now, it sounds like from your payments that you've got a particularly large mortgage. So a typical payment for someone in the country is about £800. But that would go up to about £1,000 a month at the current rates. But if you do one of the two things that I mentioned, which you can do with your bank at no change to your credit rating, that will save you hundreds of pounds a month on your mortgage payment. So it's very practical help for millions of families across the country in the short term.
He sounds like he's doing a sales job for the bank there, doesn't he, Rishi Sunak? That we've agreed this mortgage charter, you can either extend your term with the bank or you can maybe switch to an interest only for a bit whilst this all happens. And I'm not here. There is an answer, by the way. I think there's an answer that Sunak wants to give that goes further beyond what the government has spoken to the banks about being able to do for people who find themselves in that situation. And by the way, just so we're all on the same page here, I totally see where that caller is coming from because I am broadly in a similar position. I'm in my mid-30s. I am mortgaged up to the eyeballs. I am stressing about what happens when the deal ends and how much more I'm going to have to pay. So I absolutely feel this guy's pain. And we have a similar term of I'm mortgaged up till the cows come over the next 35 years. And I get his point when he says, I feel like I'm being unfairly punished. Because you might think, well, it's not unfair. You took out this mortgage. Presumably you took it out knowing that interest rates fluctuate. They might be okay for the period that you borrowed the money for, but after that, you're at the winds of the market will blow through. You can't have taken a mortgage out in the belief that interest rates will be damn it near zero forever. So in what sense are you being unfairly punished? But I get his point. We were told, you got to work hard, stack up enough for a deposit, get onto the property ladder, buy that asset, live in it, hope, and that's the way you get up on in life. And for a lot of people right now in his position, you don't feel like you're getting up and on, you feel like you're going down a rung. because you're worried about whether or not you can keep the roof over your head. And what do you hear from the guy in charge, the guy who's running the economy, the guy who says, trust me, I've got this, is talk to the bank. Sorry, can't, talk to the bank because the face ain't listening, is what you're getting. The answer that I think Sunak wants to give, which is way more brutal and which he sort of can't give because it does sound nasty, there's no nice way of sugarcoating it, is there is absolutely no way the state is going to intervene to help you pay your mortgage. No chance. Lying under the surface of that answer about this is what we agreed with the banks, this is the charter that we set up with them. Oh, and by the way, I want to get inflation down so that the interest rates can come down, so that your mortgage payments can come down. Let's not talk about the fact that I read in the paper yesterday that mortgage rates might be somewhere between 4 and 5% as a norm forever. Maybe, maybe not. Lying underneath the answer is this truth. It would be manifestly unfair to use taxpayers' money to help bail out people like me and like this chap here who got into a lot of debt to buy our houses when money was cheap. The reality is you are sort of on your own in a way in which you were not during COVID and you were not with your energy bills. The government stepped in massively with both. But for people with mortgages who are struggling to pay them, who have sleepless nights worrying about when that deal ends and what they're going to be left with at the end of the month when they have to pay 600, 700, 800 quid more, sorry, you're looking in the wrong place for help if you're trying to turn to the Prime Minister. And I think that's right. I'm sorry. And I know it massively pains those with mortgages who are forking out hundreds and hundreds of pounds more a month. But try telling people who do not have mortgages, your money, your hard-earned money is going to go directly to people who can afford to buy a house, who could previously have afforded to buy a house but are now struggling to. It's on you, isn't it?